Alrighty, hey everybody. Thank you for coming to check out the stories. So I'm actually outside right now on my building's roof deck because I wanted to start to let you know who I am by showing you where I am. Right, Harlem, everyday baby. Love it. Have been living here now for about 4-5 years, and I just want you guys to know, don't let anyone tell you that Harlem isn't beautiful. It's gorgeous, and the people here are gorgeous. What else do you need to know about me? One, my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Hey, just as a quick tip, it's good to say it so that everyone can feel comfortable saying it. I am a dual citizen of Nigeria and the United States. Naija no de carry last, okay? That's it. That's all you need to know. I was born, though, in Poughkeepsie, in upstate New York. 90 minutes up from New York City, and what a wild experience growing up, going back and forth between Poughkeepsie, which is an amazing city in and of itself, but quite different in a lot of ways from Nigeria. So that definitely did a lot to kind of design this juxtaposition that I like to have in my life and in everything that I do. Gosh, what else do you need to know? I have 3 siblings. I have an older sister who's a badass. She was the first person to get into Harvard from my high school. Her name is Tiana Matthews. She's just awesome. So she's awesome. I have 2 younger brothers who are also awesome and just normal, young, beautiful black men. One brother with autism who has the most beautiful soul that keeps our family together. Another brother who's a creative and has found an amazing way to redefine what a Nigerian son should be doing with his life, and it's pretty cool. What else? Oh, and I guess you'll get to see a little bit more about this as we go through today, but if I had to describe myself in any way, it would be the love child of Bill Nye the Science Guy and Beyonce. So just giving you that to work with. Let's do it. All right, so now that we know each other a little better, we can jump into the fun stuff. What do I do for a living, right? Beyond all the things. I am the founder and CEO of a very cool company called Uncharted Power. What does Uncharted Power do? Well, first and foremost, we are a power access company. So what that means is we're kind of obsessed with this idea of making sure that everyone on this planet has access to clean, resilient, and cost-effective, right, like affordable power. It should be a universal right. That's what we believe. The thing is, that's obviously not the case, right? We've found that a lot of people in this world do not have access to the power that they need. In fact, nearly 1 billion people on this planet, including many people in the country that I call home in Nigeria, they do not have access to reliable power. And even in places where we think we have that kind of access, oftentimes a natural disaster will show us that we don't, right? Think about the fires in California. Think about the hurricanes and what happens when, with a weather event, all of a sudden our infrastructure isn't there and we lose power. So at Uncharted Power, what we do is actually build the technologies that we believe are necessary to ensure that people have this power that they need no matter what's going on. We build the hardware and software that allows us to rebuild the grid, actually, specifically the way that we transmit and distribute power. We're building the stuff that replaces the cables overhead and gets us to a place where every city that we're building, right, every community that we have, has access to sustainable, smart power where you need it and when you need it. So you're probably thinking, okay, Uncharted Power seems pretty cool, but what exactly does Uncharted Power make? Totally fair question. It's a little technical, but the easiest way to think about it is that we make the technology that's going to build the new grid, right? So what is the power grid, right? It's the way that we distribute power. It's all those cables that you see above head that allows us to get power to different places. let's face it, that system's a little trash, right? I mean, it hasn't been really like innovated in since Nikolai Tesla, right? Like literally we have So it's one of the biggest issues that we have when we think about the most sustainable ways to build microgrids, to build resilient infrastructure. And so what we're building at Uncharted Power is something called the Uncharted System. And the Uncharted System is a paver solution that allows us to transform the ground into this new power grid that makes it easier to interconnect renewable power, literally promoting energy sharing between homes with solar, really thinking about how we can have a more sustainable, cost-effective solution for an entirely 100% renewable system. It's a solution that also allows us to more easily interconnect all the things that need power in a community, right? So that can be things for connectivity, right? So it makes it easier to embed fiber optic and embed data center infrastructure and all the things that you need so that your Netflix doesn't lag, so you have faster internet. All of that in your community, getting the power that it needs, but also sensors for communities as well and other types of Internet of Things infrastructure that makes living in that community a bit better, right? That I think redefines the relationship that you're going to have with your community. If you take everything that's been going on, for example, with COVID-19, there are a lot of things that are going to need to be done to make us feel safe in public space again. Whether it's from digital health that's more integrated in our communities, whether it's contact tracing, all of these things, you need technology for them. And that technology built into our environment needs power. And that's what the Uncharted System does. It's the technology, the hardware and software for a whole new grid that makes it easier to get power to where it's needed and when it's needed. Let's keep this going. I wanted to follow up that last video though, right? Because I shared a little bit about the Uncharted System. Hopefully a few of you went onto the website as well to, kind of get in there, geek out. Why not? Why not? Why not? But I wanted to touch upon that point that I mentioned earlier about what it means to make public space feel safe again. Because, part of why we're doing this, a big part of why this is happening today with hashtag share the mic now, it's because we live in a world where there are a lot of things that are making it so that Black people don't feel safe in public space right now. First, we found out that COVID disproportionately affects Black people in this country. I think specifically as a Black woman, I felt the pain as well. I could relate and connect with the fact that most essential workers are women. So now, okay, as a Black woman, you're realizing you're disproportionately affected by COVID because of the system that we live in and the way that trying to survive as a Black person in this country has shortened our livelihood, has put us under more stress, has put us in certain positions socioeconomically where you're going to be more likely to contract the disease. Then as a Black woman, you're more likely to be an essential worker who's again more likely to contract the disease. Or worse yet, more likely to have lost your job during this time. So now you have the health side, you have the economic side. But then now we also know that we live in a world where you can't go jogging if you're Black. You can't watch birds if you're Black. You can't sleep in your bed if you're Black. You can't babysit if you're Black. These are the things that can also kill you. And so I'm so invested. I've always been focused on what we're building at Uncharted Power. The Uncharted System, it's something that helps us build more equitable communities, right? It is a technology that not only brings power to communities, but empowers communities, because it is it's like the smartphone, right? In the same way that we now know what's going on because we can all record it. When you build in this technology into your built environment and you're collecting data on what's going on, you're able to actually make people feel safe again in public space because you can sense what's actually happening, what's truthfully happening in your environment and not just what's hearsay. Right? So like little things like making it easier for people to have more civic engagement, right? Because you have this connectivity and this data infrastructure built into your community. Perhaps even being able to sense the weight on the ground because it's smart ground when you realize that there's way too much weight on this individual. There's an individual on the ground. There's way too much weight on this individual. What if the environment can speak up and say, get up, stop. Don't you hear that he can't breathe? I know this might sound crazy. It might sound like some kind of like weird like world that full of tech that doesn't make sense, like a West world. But the reality is this tech already exists, not only just in what we're building in Uncharted Power, but when you think about everything that's happening in Silicon Valley, when you think about AI, when you think about smart cities, and all we're really saying at Uncharted Power is, wouldn't it be amazing if the technology that will change our world was built by the people who have been ignored by the world this entire time? So anyway, I'm going to be hopping on live soon. I may do it out here. I don't know. The wind is a lot. We'll see. I may not. But I wanted to make that connection. I wanted you guys to understand why I've dedicated a third of my life to this and why I will not stop, because I believe that science is what makes magic real. I believe that technology breeds equity. I believe that technology can make people better, and that's why I do what I do.